Hey everybody. So today we're going to be playing with FreeCAD. What I want to do today is just simply build, I guess you could say, like a clip that could be used to snap two pieces together. Just kind of want to play around, see if I can't figure out how to build a clip and then like make that a generic part that I can use in multiple a generic piece that I can use in multiple parts. Let's see if I can figure this out. Go ahead and start with a new project, and I guess we'll start by building our clip. We'll go here, click and go to part designer. Keep in mind this is not really a tutorial, it's just kind of me going through the process of doing things, exploring. um, so the plane I picked was the XY. It really doesn't matter because I'm going to rotate this piece accordingly. Let's see, actually I want to use, I'm not going to make a full circle, just a partial circle. Uh, I'll set the sizes later. Don't really matter right now. I'm just getting a generic shape to go off of. Um, so basically this is just going to be like your basic snap clip is the idea, hopefully. Oh, let's see here. Set some distances. Oh, we don't need it to be that big. Let's make it 2 millimeters across. And this will be just a little bit bigger than 2, I suppose. And just to make it a little bit more what we want. Alright. So we know that this is centered when we have that green bar. We know that that line's locked in. Let's lock this one in. We know it's 2.2, so I'll do 1.1, which will center that. And then how tall should we make it? Well, if this is 2 mils, this has got to be 1. We'll make this a little bit more than that. So from there to here, we'll say 1.25. Keep in mind, none of this isn't for an actual project. This is just playing around, so the measurements really aren't important. Okay, close. We'll go ahead and give it some padding. Make it 1 mil thick. Go ahead, zoom in. Doesn't really seem 1 mil thick, but okay. Our next step is to give it something to actually snap, like a lip or a ring or something. Let's go ahead and we'll give it like a little lip or something. So we'll sketch right onto that surface. Come over here. We'll use the slot shape. Well, how big should this be? We can say, how big is it now? We'll say 0.8 mils wide. We'll center it with 0.4. And about how high up should we go? Oh, if this is, what is it now? It doesn't really matter. 0.2. We still don't have a green line because it can be thicker, I'm imagining. Yes. So what we could do is how thick do we want it? Let's make it point. Seems kind of small, but my 3D printer should be able to do that. Okay, we'll give it a little bit of padding of point. No, I don't want it to be super big. 0.5 just to keep it simple, so that way we could just remember this whole thing is 1.5 mils thick. Um, okay, and just to give it a little bit of a better snap feature quality, we'll go ahead and do this. Now this is going to throw out an error. I know that right away, and it's because the round defaults to 1 mil rounded edges, and it's not 1 millimeter big, so we get our error. But if we come over here and do point, say 1, we could see we get our rounded edges. And 0.5 mil still seems a little tall. So what we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and say okay. Come over here and we're gonna actually make this something like 0.2. Yeah, that looks better. I like that. Okay, so that's gonna be our clip shape. We'll go ahead and save this. We'll go ahead and create a new folder to store this in. And we'll just shuffle into there, and we'll just give it a basic name. It doesn't have to be anything special because there's only going to be a few parts in this project. But that's just so we don't lose it. And we'll go ahead and drop this error screen. That'll continue to pop up though. Let's create a part to place this on. What do we do? I guess we could just do two flat parts, snap two flat parts together to keep it simple. So we'll go ahead and create a body, a sketch, again, XY. Doesn't have to be anything too complicated or complex. I'm gonna do this centered on this point of origin. I think it might make it a little easier to get the clips aligned. Might not make a difference, but we'll find out. Alright, let's go ahead and actually, you know what? I think I am going to build off of the point of origin. And then let's just give it a basic size. I don't know. It doesn't have to be huge. Our clips are 2 mils big. So let's just say we build something that's, we're going to build a 20 by 20 disc, or 20 by 20 plate, 20 mil by 20 mil plate. So we'll say it's going to be 10 mils thick and 20 mils tall. That gives us plenty of room for, we'll say 3 clips, 4 clips, whatever we decide, to snap the two pieces together along this axis. Alright, we've already got it green, so we know we're locked in. We know our thing, we know our clip is 1.2 mils thick, so we want to make our plate at least, oh, for the sake of argument, let's just say 2.4 mils thick. Alright, that's gonna be our plate 1. We can go ahead and save it, give it a name just for the sake of not getting lost in things. Save as left. Okay, so we have our left plate here, and now what we want to do is we want to start adding the clips to the plate. And what we're going to actually do is we're going to add 3 clips along this axis here. We're going to add 2 male clips going out and 1 female clip to receive the male clip from what will be the right side of the plate when we get to that point. So what we're going to go ahead and do is make sure we're on actually part designer for now. Well, we could actually go to part. Don't really matter at this point because what we're going to be doing is we're going to merge project and we're going to merge our clip. There's our clip, and we're going to go ahead and put 3 of them in there because we know we're going to want all 3. And then using the space bar, I'm going to go ahead and hide a few of them. And now we're going to start moving this one over here and trying to get it into place. So first thing I'm going to do is get it closer. And I like to use this property tree down here rather than using the draft tools because it's a little more accurate, and I find it a little easier to get your pieces to line up for when you're going to be combining multiple parts. Let's see, so what we're going to do, let's just see what axis does what, of course. Not getting any, because I'm on the wrong body. If I get on the right body, this would have a little better effect. Okay, so we're getting closer. In fact, why don't we do this to make it a little easier to see? Okay, so now I want to rotate this. What happens if I rotate it? Looks like it's going to rotate the directions we want it. But I actually want to do the males first, so we'll do 270. And how do we want to do it? I guess we'll do it just the way it is, because it's already in line with the bottom. So we know that we are 2 mils thick, and it's pretty much right down the center, it looks like. So what we can do to get it in line, we can probably the y-axis. Yeah, if we go in exactly 1 mil. Oh yeah, that's right, our bottom line is 1.2 mils. So for the sake of argument, what we're going to actually do is 2.2 mils, and that's going to give us a distance from here to here of 1 millimeter. We also know that we are I forget how big we are, how tall we are. We could double check that though real quick. Come over here. 1 1/4 plus 1, so we're 2 1/4 mils tall. So we want to close this. Come over here. And I forget. We're going to add 2 1/4 mils to this. So that would be 11.25. And that's why I kind of like using this, because it just becomes a little bit easier to get those precise locations. All right. So that one's pretty much right where we want it. Let's go ahead and get the other one where we want it. So we should be able to view it now, which we can. And we can steal some of our measurements off of this, so like we know yeah, let's just kind of actually guess and test it like before. 11.25, yeah, it should be 11.25. This should be 90, no, 270, because we're doing the other male end. And since this, we know the whole plate is what, 20 mils long, we did 1 mil in. We did 1 millimeter in, so if we did 1 millimeter in over on this side, that would be from center to center, or from outside to outside, 18 millimeters. But from center to center would be 16 millimeters. So if we look over here and get our position, which is 20.2 or 2.2, it'd be 18.2, 16 point or 16 plus 2.2. So let's do 18.2. And that should give us 1 millimeter in from the other side. Alright, that will give us both of our male pieces right where we want them. And now we're going to build a female piece from the other clip. I was thinking about putting it on this side, along this line here, and imprint it facing that direction. But then the part could just, if you were to pull the two parts away like this, it would unsnap. Whereas if I put the clip on this side, and if we were to snap them in like that, the only way you would be able to unsnap them is if you were to actually break the part. So let's put it over here on this line. Okay. Go ahead and make it visible. Get to where we can see it. Again, we can kind of steal some measurements. We know it's going to be 90 this time because that's what we actually want. We did 11. So let's do 9. Actually, I guess it would be 8.8. Yes, 8.8. And then now we're working with the center of this line, and we actually want it to be the center of that line, so it should be exactly 10. And that would put it center. And that's actually got us right where we want to be, facing the right direction. So now you're going to probably wonder, well, I guess maybe some of you might already know what my next step is, but I am going to basically join this piece, and this piece, and then I'm going to cut this piece out of all of it. We can go ahead and minimize all these because we don't need these trees open. And this is why I'm here on part, because it's just a little bit easier to use these quick click tools over here. But we're going to grab our body. We're going to grab, let's actually do the cut first. So we'll grab our body and the female clip. We're going to cut it out. Now you can see it's ready to receive a male clip. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to start adding these two tails to the body. So we'll go ahead and grab the body, the main body, and one of the clips, and we'll use the union tool. And we'll grab the main body, one of the clips, and use the union tool. Now you can see that we have one piece. And this piece is now ready for export and can be then essentially printed and tested. So that's how that one's gonna, so that's basically it. That's our left piece. We can go ahead and save that. And we can start our right piece. Again, let's just come over here, part designer. We'll just jump straight to sketch on the XY. Create a rectangle. We'll go ahead and, like last time, start from the point of origin. That worked pretty good. We're going to set our dimensions or our sizes to be 10 wide and 20 tall. We'll zoom in. We'll move our measurements to make them a little neater. Gonna go ahead and close. Set our pad, I think we set to 2.2. Let's double check over here. .4. All right, 2.4. So that's our right. Yes, that's going to be our right plate. So what we can go ahead and do is, save as right. And just like before, we're going to merge our clip. We're going to grab 3 of them. And do the same thing as we just did, only for this side. We'll go ahead and hide 2 of them. What we're going to do is zoom in. This one's a little bit different because we're only working with this side. So let's go ahead and same thing as before, kind of start moving things around and see what we've got to do. It looks like if I were to guess, I would say we would have to move it 1.25 mils that direction. So let's come over here to the Y. I'm pretty sure that's the one we want. No, that's not the one we want. We'll leave this at 0 and come back to that. Negative 1.25. There we go. That's what we wanted. That's got it in line there. And then I think what we want here is 2.2 to get it 1 mil in, just like over here. That sets it up nicely. And I don't think we need to mess with the Z axis. I think that clip is pretty much right where we want it. So now we can go ahead and unhide our next one. We'll rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to move it negative 1.2. You can see that it's a whole lot easier now that we've figured everything out from before. I what was it? We can actually cheat here and come over here and see if we can't find 18.2. So what we want here is 18.2. And that got us, I think, where we want to be. No. And let's take a step back and just look. Ah, was off a little bit, huh? I think that's what I wanted was 17.8. I think I want 18.2 when I wanted to do 17.8. Either way, let's just make sure that they match. Oh. Eh. We'll just make sure that this one's 18.2. And we'll place our last clip. This one we know we want 270. We know we want a positive 1.2 2. Why is that? Oh yeah, 2.5. Okay. One of them we got right. One of them we did off by, oops, 20th of a mil, but we'll fix it. Okay, 1.25, negative 1.25, positive 1.25. And we know we want 10 here. This will line it up with the other side. All right. Our clips theoretically are in line with the other plate. So let's go ahead and set this up. And before we move on to the printing process, we'll test it out here in the 3D environment. So just like before, we're going to jump over to part. We'll grab the body. We're going to grab the female end. And we're going to cut it. Oops, that wasn't the female clip. So we'll hit Control Z, body. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and join the other two pieces with union. And now we have our one piece that is ready for export. All right, but before we move any further, we want to test all this. So we're going to go ahead and create one more file. And we're going to actually use A2 Plus, which is an additional add-on that you can download using Tools Add-on Manager. Before we could do anything with this tool, though, we do have to save it. Oops, caps is on. Assembly. Okay, so now we have this set up. We can go ahead and start importing pieces that we want to assemble, which we only need the two sides of the plate. We'll import it. Make sure you check it. There's our left plate. And now we'll import our right plate. We've got both plates. And oops, you know what I did? And that's why we test before we print. So we'll go ahead and we don't need that. Let's open up our right plate. We're gonna actually undo our fusions. And this is actually should be a relatively easy fix, I hope. Let's see. If we do this to 270, Okay, easy fix. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our body and we're gonna actually do this in the correct order now. Oh, let's see. Part. We'll grab the body and one of the female ends and we'll cut it out. We'll grab the main body, the other female end, we'll cut it out. We'll grab the body and the male end and we'll join them. Now we have one piece. Okay. Now let's save it. And we can go ahead and close these. Let's reopen our assembly. Let's go back to A2 plus and let's import our left piece. And import. Now let's import our right piece. Make sure we check our box, otherwise it won't import it. And we are good. Now we can start checking to see if these things line up at least. Still doesn't mean they'll snap together, but at least we know if it lines up. So what we're going to do, just to help visualize this, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the appearance on both these. Make one a little more transparent than the other. Give it a color of, we'll say, red. And then the other one we'll leave non-transparent, but we're going to make it a darker color. And in fact, this first one, let's give it a lighter shade of red. Okay, that's better. Now, since these are pretty simple pieces, they should snap together pretty easily. If we just grab that face and that face, we should be able to just use that constraint, except, and if we look, we could see our clips are lining up rather nicely. Huh. That might be an issue there. Let's make this one a little transparent. So we can see that that clip lines up nicely. That clip lines up nicely. This one's a little off, and I think it's in the left clip. If I was a betting man. So let's go ahead and open up the left clip. And we're gonna unfuse everything. Yes, see this little lip right here? It wasn't set in deep enough. And that's because this should be 8.75. Because we set it 1 1/4, not 1.2. Okay. So now, repeat the process. We'll go ahead and grab the body. Oh, we gotta jump back to our part workbench. Grab the body. We'll grab the clip. We'll cut it out. Grab the body, one clip, join them. Grab the body, the other clip, join them. Should be good to go. We'll go ahead and save it. Come back over here. We're gonna delete that. It threw an error, yes, because it said that we lost our constraints, which we did because there's no longer two pieces. So we can come back to A2 plus, import the left piece, and it looks like it dropped it right into place for us already, but we don't have the constraints. I just want to apply the constraints. Oops. Go ahead and transform it. Oops. Either one, it don't matter. Okay. I'll go ahead and apply the constraint, except there. We'll make this. We'll set some appearances so we can see things a little easier. And we'll say 63. Make it a dark blue this time. Okay. Close. Set this one. Appearance. Yeah, we'll mid 60s and we'll make it bright red again. Okay. Now let's zoom in and check things out. Yeah, it looks like our edges line up good there still. That edge looks a whole lot cleaner. That edge looks a whole lot cleaner. Let's kind of get in here and check these bubbles out. I don't see where any lines overlap or where there's any gaps. They should line up pretty perfect. So I do understand that this is going to be a super, super tight fit, especially with a 3D printer, but that should be it. You should be able to print this out and those two pieces should snap together. We made two plates and one clip and reused the clip over in 6 different instances. So that way we knew that the clip was exactly the same every time. That's pretty much it. Till next time.